Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mike Plays RP1. This is a series in which I'm working my way through the programs and contracts in the RP1 mod pack and doing my best to get through them as well as best I can. And sometimes that moves forward at a reasonable pace, and sometimes, as in the last couple of episodes, we kind of get stuck in the same place. And speaking of last episode, a link to which you can find up here, I was working towards the end of the episode on this space plane, or not space plane, what am I talking about? Rocket plane, a high altitude rocket plane, and it was running into pilot issues. Let's talk about that first off the bat. It got a little bit complicated, but the vessel wasn't controllable. It was like it thought there wasn't a pilot in there, even though there definitely was a pilot in there, and it really puzzled me. I thought there was maybe a bug in the game or something like that. I couldn't figure it out. Went to my Discord, got wisely directed to the RP1 Discord, put the question, hey, I had this happen to me, got answered right off the bat to exactly what the problem was. Problem was I had no electricity. Now, if you take a look at the cockpit, I can go through, I went through the old video and I actually figured out the exact moment where I lost my electricity. There is electricity incorporated right into the cockpit, and this is true of all the cockpits. There's 5.9 megajoules of electric charge being stored in there. And normally I don't even think about it. I don't even register that it's there. It's just, you know, the thing works, and I've never changed this or plotted it or anything like that. But over the course of my fooling around between this plane and my X4 plane, the one that's the ancestor of this one, I noticed that there was a button up here that you can fill the cockpit. I guess there's tanks in the cockpit for the motor that you have selected. So I ended up pushing that, and I went, oh, that's cool. It puts in a little bit more propellant and oxidizer in there, and you know, a little bit more. That's not a problem. But that was when I was playing with the X4, and the X4, instead of having this version of the engine, had actually the R35-M1-R1 version of the engine, but then I wanted to switch back to this version of the engine, so I was changing the engine configs, and sometimes that changes the proportions of the propellants that you require. In fact, sometimes it changes the propellants outright. So I got in the habit when I did that to go, well, these proportions may not be correct anymore, so I hit remove all tanks, and then I simply said fill again, which is what I'm used to doing. I did that with all the tanks that are on here. But did you notice what just happened? If we look down here, there's no more electricity. When I hit remove all tanks, it took out the electricity. Not the oxygen, which is interesting, but just the electricity. And so this had no electricity, no way to communicate with the KSC. The game interpreted that as you can't do anything with it. And yeah, that was the source of all of those issues. I think that's, and the person who pointed it out to me said that they'd done it themselves. It feels to me like an easy thing to do and an easy oversight to make. But anyway, that's what happened. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit some Control Z's here. I should be able to, if I do that a couple of times, I want to have it so there's no propellants in there at all. Let's do it until I hit Control Z. I can always load my X3. It doesn't seem to want to do that. Control Z doesn't seem to bring back. Okay, that's cool. So we'll just load up. Let's go new and open up a new Bell X3. And now it's back to the way that it was. Now the thing I want to do with this, because I'm getting towards the end of the X-Planes research program, and the contract that I got left is to break the Kármán line. That's the only required contract I have left. I also have going a Atlas-style rocket that is going to be my first rocket to reach orbit. But unfortunately, I'm running into funding issues. So I do have my Atlas launch complex. It is being constructed. It's not going to be completed for another 91 days. But I have a bigger issue than that. I also have my Redstone. If I go to, I think I should be able to go to construction and select You know what? Let's get out of here for just a bit. I also have, if I go to integration, I also have a redstone complex, a smaller complex than what the Atlas complex is going to be. And I had modified it so that it could build just the Atlas booster, not the payload, just the booster, so I can get a head start on building that before the Atlas complex is trying to is completed its construction, so trying to get things going ahead of time so that I can launch this rocket as quickly as I can. Unfortunately, I've run into funding issues, specifically credit issues. I can't afford parts in the Atlas booster, so I'm waiting to build up the funds. Now, if I go over here to my administration building and I take a look at my two programs, here's the X-Planes program. Well, I started here. We're just a little over 1 year into the program, and you can see the funding model is actually just past a minimum, and it's going to be ramping up. So I'm going to be seeing more funds over the next few years. So money is coming, and the same thing's true with early satellites, right? I'm only about 1 year into that program. Funding is increasing. In a couple of years, it's going to hit its maximum, and I really want to. So this will rectify itself, but the question is, what do I do in the meantime? And the only thing I can think of is, well, collect science with my X-Plane. So that's going to be my plan with the X3. Is I'm going to use it to collect science. And specifically, if we go into the configure science option here, configure crew science, it's now set up to collect Mach 2 science. I've collected all that. I want to start collecting this high altitude science. That's my next one. I think that's an easier. There's also a hypersonic science to collect as well that we can work on. But anyway, to collect high altitude science, which I think is the easier of the two that are left, I need to get to an altitude of at least 40 kilometers. That's the flying high part. Flying high is 40 kilometers. And I've got to achieve a minimum surface speed of 650 meters per second. If I get those two parameters correct, I will start collecting science. And it takes 24 minutes to collect it all. So it's going to take probably several flights of this thing in order to do that. But I figured that's a good use of collecting all of that science. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on high altitude flight. We're also going to re-click on this, start that up. Perfect, perfect. There we go. And what I also want to do, because once you get over about 35, 40 kilometers, the aerodynamic control surfaces kind of start to lose their effectiveness. So what I want to do as well is add a little bit, just a little bit of RCS. So what we're going to do is we're going to add on, if I go to my RCS jets, and I want to add on the small ones. I don't think it's going to need anything more than that. All of these have the same mass, so it's really just kind of a styling choice that you have. Let's throw them all on here and see which ones we like the most. Now, I am going to set this up so it's only 2 ports. So that's no good. I don't want them going off on an angle. All I need are ports to go. Actually, I will need one to go outwards as well. So 3 ports. Already this one's a bad choice. Okay, that one's the bad choice. Throw you away. Let's try you. What are you? Is this the one that this is the same one. Dope. This one. Ah, this looks more like what I'm looking for. So I'm going to need 3 ports like that. Rotate. So one will control, these two will control pitch, and this one will control yaw. I won't worry too much about anything. And they can also control roll. They're just going to be attitude control. We'll put 2 of them. I think that's going to be enough. So I have that one, and I think I probably also have this one as a choice. Probably very similar to each other. And I don't think they can be recolored or anything like that. So it's just which one do I like. I might go with these. I might stick them out towards the front here a little bit too. Where's the dry mass on this puppy? We use RCS build aid for that. It's way up at the front. I used to have these at the back. I'm actually thinking they're fine at the back. I'm just going to try it at... Well, you know what? No, let's put them at the back. People were suggesting that maybe there was some thrust being occluded, but I don't think there was. I think it was fine. So we'll put one here. There's one on the other side. Let's turn off RCS build aid. That doesn't matter. And we want to show the actuation toggles. Roll, pitch, and yaw is all we care about, so we're going to take off any kind of translation control. That's not going to be an issue. And that's going to be it. Now, it also needs some form of propellant. So what we're going to get, now this is all just aluminum stringer tanks. They are. So I'm going to stick with aluminum stringers all the way through this. So we'll get a conventional tank. Just a single one. I'll decide where I'm going to put it in just a little bit. We're going to put this as... Oh, it might need to be a high pressure. You can tell, see here it says just fill for this engine, because this engine doesn't require a high pressure tank. But if I go one more over, so it's high pressure aluminum stringers, now I have the option to put in the stuff for the for my RCS block. I also want to configure the RCS block, and we're going to put in HTP. That's my most effective option that I have. And so now I should have the option to put in that HTP. Boom, that's that. Now this tank is monstrously too big. We don't need very much. Just thinking where I'm going to probably put it in the back. Why don't we see? We'll open this up. What if I actually found a way to kind of hide it in here? I'm wondering if that's going to work. We'll take our motor off. Put our tank, come on, right there. We're going to shrink down its diameter a ton. Well, not to that. Actually, maybe make it... Let's put the motor on it. Holding the Alt key. There we go. So it's kind of hiding around the motor. Maybe a little smaller. Oh, I meant this way. It starts to look a little funny. And then maybe down this way. Really shrink its length down. It's all covered by fairings anyway. Okay, so right now there's hardly... Let's not go with 10 millimeters in length. Let's go... Actually, I can go... Let's go with 50. That puts me with 4.5 units of HTP and helium to power those. And I don't even think it looks that stupid. It'll probably cover, once the fairing covers, everything will get covered. And I'm not going to color it because, like, who cares? I could turn up the utilization, though I think I have probably more than enough. What's the other thing I wanted to look at? There was something else. I swears. Oh, I wanted to look at the mass of this thing. Wet mass, 9 kilograms I've just added to it. Let's turn it down to just 25 in length. 4.5 kilograms. Okay, we'll see how this flies. So we are going to toggle that oh, wow. That's unfortunate. How did those get changed? Toggle that open again. As soon as I put that tank in there, it auto-changed it on me. You stinker. Okay, we're going to have to close these. Okay, so this is the actual fairing base, what I'm using. And, let's just shrink the size at the top, I guess. Oh, there we go. I don't want it quite like that, but you get the idea. Oh my gosh, why? Oh my lordy lord. Mouse slips. There we go. Now I want to have these tooled. I want to get back to the size. Where's the... Does it talk? Oh wait, I gotta go pin that. There. Are these... They're tooled. Okay, so I can fiddle with the size here a bit. I don't think that necessarily looks bad. I think it's just that one dimension that got fiddled with. We'll keep it like that. I don't want to do any retooling. That's the thing I'm concerned with, but I think that's pretty good. Okay. So, with all of that now taken care of, let's give this thing a little bit of a flight, and I'm going to, yeah, let's save it, and then we'll simulate. Okay, so what did this is all useless, it is. We'll have to rewrite that. I am going to get the autopilot out. And we'll open up our cruise flight controller. Whoops, I meant to keep it on standard, but just open that up. We'll also look at our craft settings and set this for a X-plane. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fly it up, especially when I get up to the top. I'm going to fly it for the most part manually. I'm going to fly a lot more of this manually than I've done in the past because I think I've got myself into some trouble using this. So I think I can probably fly it easier that way. I will use the standard fly-by-wire though. Heading of 270 is good. I will put some information in here. I want to get over 40 kilometers, so we're going to call this 4,500. For the altitude, I just won't engage this. Speed control, I'm going to completely leave off. It really doesn't do a very good job with handling the speed control. I could probably get into, if there's a thrust controller GUI, you can get into the PID settings. I'm not going to fiddle with that. I'm just going to control this by myself. I think that's a better plan. I can hit shift and stuff. Okay, so other than that, I think we are ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our typical air launch. Yep. Let's launch this. And go. And there's this. That was very strange. A little side wiggle it just did there. So I'm going to keep it largely going. We'll climb a little bit, but I'm really more thinking about building up speed at this point right now. And what we're interested in this case is how much science can this guy collect from this high altitude flight science. I'm not entirely sure. There might be some more crew reports once we get above 40 kilometers. I honestly do not remember. Okay. We'll also keep an eye on, I wonder if I can reach it from here. This tank. Yes, I can. I want to keep an eye on this propellant. And in particular, the amount of helium. This motor is using HTP as a pressurizer. So the motor's using some of the HTP that's in this tank that's really for the RCS. That doesn't matter. But once I turn on the RCS, we'll start using up the helium. Okay, we're going to start pitching up. Just like so. And again, what I want to do is keep building speed. So as long as I'm building speed, I'm okay. Again, I do not want the speed to get over... actually, I need a minimum speed of 640, but I don't want to get too far above that. And as we increase in altitude, this is a rocket motor, not a jet motor. It gets more efficient, not less efficient. So we should see increases in how much thrust we can provide and in the ISP of the engine itself as we increase in altitude. Okay, so just keep pitching up, and as long as that speed is still increasing, I'm happy. But it doesn't have to increase a lot. I'm now kind of sacrificing a bit of speed buildup for getting altitude to get up where this engine's going to be better for me. Also, should select this waypoint here. There's our runway. Again, pitching up. I should have really done this all manually a long time ago. I think I can do this more efficiently than fiddling with the cruise control settings. But I kind of wanted to keep getting used to using that. It's the same reason why I spent so much time a couple of episodes ago fiddling with McJeb. It was because I want to learn how to use it. These are mods I don't use a huge amount, though I'm using this one I find more and more in my stock games. Alright, we are building altitude nicely. Angle of attack's not a big deal, because I'd rather just get the higher altitude. We're almost just about 30 kilometers right now. Again, remember the goal is 40. And I am starting to notice a little bit of sloppiness in the... Well, no, keep going like we're doing. Okay, and I might even... Let's pitch up. Yeah, I'm going to put on RCS. Oh, I got to engage the RCS. Shoot, I got to fix that staging. Stage. Okay. So now I have a little bit better... I'm going to... Again, altitude is what I want. I want to start reducing throttle. I'm getting close to altitude. I don't want to get much over 640. Reducing throttle, of course, saves fuel too. We're almost at 40 kilometers. Gonna start bringing that pitch down. There we go. Reducing throttle a bit more. Really reduce that throttle a lot. I don't want to lose that engine because I don't want to get into fiddling with ignitions. The throttle actually has a minimum... Oh, there is a thrust limiter. I'm not sure if that does anything. So I think the way... Maybe. No, I don't think it is doing anything. Oh shoot, we're going down. I got fiddling with too much. I might need stronger RCS blocks because it's struggling. It's struggling. Oh, because I was fiddling with the thrust limiter. Bad mic. Oh my god. Alright, that was bad. Let's try that again. Restart simulation. What might be the better plan? Here, let's get this going again before I decide on all that. All this stuff. Oh, this stuff never changed. That's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, let's... do that and launch. What may be a better plan, I'm just going to fix the staging a bit, rather than trying to cruise level flight at 40 kilometers, is instead put myself in a bit of an arc. Doing hand gestures while I'm doing that. Of course you can't see, but doing a bit of an arc and you know, getting myself over, you know what I'm trying to say. That might be a better thing to do than trying to do level flight. Do a bit of a parabolic arc. The big thing in the arc is that I got to keep that speed over 640. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We'll make this work. Might need stronger RCS blocks. Maybe there is some occlusion going on there between this nozzle and the horizontal stabilizers. No, I feel like they're far enough away. I think they're just wimpy blocks. I think I might just want bigger ones. Okay, we're building up speed nicely. Let's pitch up again a little bit. And I'm going to keep track of my apogee. I do have to be cognizant of keeping this below 75 kilometers, or else Frederic here is going to be in some trouble. This is not a vacuum-rated cockpit. I don't have that yet. Again, building up speed, so pitching up. Pitching up, pitching up, pitching up. Close to 28 kilometers. It's still holding this attitude despite the high angle of attack, so I'm going to just kind of keep going with this. 30 kilometers. Again, not having trouble holding it. I'm having a little bit of trouble pitching up. I'm going to put on that RCS now. Should stage it. There we go. Should probably just stage the RCS at the beginning with the engine. Yeah, I really can't pitch up any further than I am right now. So I think I need stronger RCS blocks, or they really are being occluded, but I actually do think I need stronger ones. I also don't think this plane's particularly well balanced. I've been screwing with it and not moving anything. That might be part of the issue. Okay, we are getting close. It's 37 kilometers. We're also getting close to our speed, but I'm actually... Oh, now it's starting to pitch up a bit. But I want the speed now. Okay, let's start reducing throttle a little. Okay, we're over 40. Just gonna kind of let it kind of find a spot. Whoa, whoa, whoa. See, now it really wants to fall forward. I think that's a balance issue. Let's reduce throttle. Now the throttle actually, there we go. There actually is only, no, I need more. I can see I'm starting to lose altitude. So I need a lot of speed here. Nope, nope, more speed. Pitch up. I'm out of RCS propellant too. Okay, so the RCS does nothing for me anymore. Oh, we are collecting a bit of a crew report. Now I can see that, but I can also see I am starting to descend. I need more RCS propellant, and I need bigger blocks. Pretty sure. Maybe I'll try moving them to the front. Despite that, we are collecting some science here, so... And we're below 40 kilometers, so fun times are over. What did we do for data here? It's transmitting data. It collected 0.8 science of the... And it's transmitted 0.2. Still got a little bit more to transmit. It's going to take a few minutes for it to... Okay. There's science to be had. Let's revert to the editor. Okay. Let's look at the balance of this plane, because I really don't think I'm doing a very good job with that. Well, that part's okay, but I can see that the fuel drifts forward. The mass drifts forward as this thing drains propellant. And yeah, it gets very, very top heavy. And I'm not 100% convinced there's a lot I can do about that. Because if I move the wings... backwards, I don't want to get into a total redesign. See, that starts moving the lift too far back, and I don't like that. It's bringing the mass back, but... Ugh. not a very well-designed plane, I think is what the issue is. Okay, let's try just the bigger RCS blocks. Let's see how that helps. So, going to size 2, these fellas. A little bit of snap, two-way symmetry. Again, I think it's this variant. No. Yeah, it is that variant. Like that. Get into the bump. Oh, I want, yeah, the engine configuration, change these to HTTP. And also, show actuation toggles. Translation stuff all comes off. Okay, and I need to find that tank because it is clearly too small. I think that's you. Yep. Okay, so let's remove again because I do have different blocks. Let's fill it for the right ones. Excuse me. And 90. Okay, utilization is fine. Let's increase the diameter. So right now I have 2.68 liters of HTP. Oh, let's look at the helium. 30 liters of helium. Start increasing the if I just increase the diameter, I don't think it looks stupid, so I'll just increase it to about there-ish. Sure. Now I'm up to 152. I've done a lot. This will also pull the dry mass back, right? Well, maybe not too much. Now I'm thinking about it. Close these. And that's all. That's what it is. All right, let's try this one. Save you and simulate. Are those okay? Yeah, they're good at back. Okay, so shift P and P. I think all this is probably fine. That should be okay. This is not changed, so we are raring to go. Launch. Engage. And we're off. I don't think I have to worry about my apogee getting above 75 kilometers, so I'm going to keep this on the flight control parts. Oh, I also want to prepare this. I should probably just stage this with the motor. Just be ready for them to go on. I don't know if there's a lot of drag associated with those blocks or not. If I put on the it doesn't look like it. Well, there's a little bit. I can see, actually, it's a lift vector associated with them rather than a drag vector, which is interesting. Okay. Climb it up. Get up to altitude. Okay, put that on there. Now what I could do is simply go back to the X4 idea with the single use but high throttle engine. And the issue with that one is a high thrust engine. The issue with that one is that you can't control the throttle. But maybe that's the way to do it, is to put yourself in an arc, but then you're going to lose speed at the top. I don't know. I'm going to still try and make this motor work for me. Pitching up. Get up there. Stage and get those RCS blocks ready to go. Actually, it's probably a good idea to keep these on, because when this pitch indicator gets to the top, that means the elevators can no longer keep, you know, they've run to the end of their usefulness, and that'll be my cue to put on the RCS. More altitude. Speed for altitude. See how high it is now, but that means it's still doing its job. We're still getting it done. I think I was reducing speed too early before, so I'm gonna resist the urge when this gets to 640 to really start reducing speed. I kind of want to do that, but I'm trying to resist the urge to do that. Let's try and pitch up a little bit more. Let's get... Now it is starting to struggle a bit. Not too much yet. And climbing. Climb, climb, climb. Okay, I'm going to put on the RCS. Well, maybe they are being occluded. Maybe they are better at the front. Because you can see how much it's working here. It might not be doing too much, and this pitch indicator didn't change too much. It's still struggling just to keep it pointed up. But then again, it also, the mass is well ahead of where the center of lift is of the vessel, which isn't great either. Then again, it's pretty thin air up here. Okay, let's start leveling a little bit. I'll hold it up there. Want to keep that lift vector positive there. That prograde vector needs to stay above. Just trying to keep, yep, see, it really wants to fall forward now. Just pitching up as hard as I can. I got full throttle going. I need better RCS blocks. That's what I need. Or I need to move them to the front. Maybe that's the issue. Again, we are collecting some science, so that's happening. Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to move them to the front. See if that really is the big problem. Up to the front they go, as far forward as I can get them. Again, we'll go 2 like that. And we will... They do look kind of funny up here. At least I think they do. Have it so that those horizontal ones are kind of pointing straight, you know, horizontally. Sure. And then we'll switch to... tuck them in a little bit. There we go. Give that a go. Okay, let's save you. Simulate. Yeah, and there, and open that, and we should be good. Okay, yep. Oh, I'm gonna try just putting these with the motor so that all stages at the same time. Watch. I was a little concerned with putting these and a little hesitant of putting these at the front. Actually, I can see. I don't know. Whatever. Look like they're not vertical, but maybe they are. Mostly because I was a little bit concerned with just any kind of drag affecting the aerodynamics of this thing, but I'm not convinced now that they have a lot of drag associated with them. Like if you take a look, I can see a little bit of a red line there. I don't think it's huge. I don't know if there's a huge amount of drag associated with them or not. F12 again. Okay. Once again, we're building speed, and then we'll translate that speed to altitude. But I mean, this thing can get there. It can collect a bit of science. It's, again, all I'm paying for, because I do recover the thing all the time and the engine gets reused, is I'm just paying for the propellant and, of course, this dude's salary. But overall, this is not an expensive thing to fly when comparing it to rockets. And it'll give me something to do while, you know, we're thinking of, we're trying to sort out our financial situation. Getting our finances sorted. Just 23 kilometers in altitude. Up here, we shouldn't be seeing much in the terms. Oh, there's still lift and drag, yeah. Air getting thinner. Should be seeing less aerodynamic forces on this thing. All right. Pointing up. Alright, we're putting on RCS. Do I have better? It doesn't feel any better. Pitch up, you stinker. I'm pitching up, full up. I'm stomped down on the S key. Get up there. Ah, maybe it's a little better. But it really wants to fall forward. Ow! Wait, what is going on with these control? Oh, is it trying to steer? It's trying to control roll. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll let you do your thing. I'm gonna keep it pointing like this. Our speed is good, and we're just about over 40. I'm really going through the RCS propellant, though. Okay, knocking back on some of the engines. I'm down to 3 engines. Down to 2 engines. That's the way that throttle works. It just turns off engines. This, of course, will save propellant. Now I'm down to 1 engine, but I gotta really watch. No. I really gotta be careful because I don't want to start going down. Back to full throttle again. That might be just the way to do it, is not fiddling with the throttle. Yeah, it's starting to go down again, and I'm pitching up as hard as I can. So I really, really, really can't do much about that. But I want to stay above 40 kilometers as long as I can, even though my speed is through the roof. Oh, I am now out of RCS propellant. The helium has run dry. So I only have these as my aerodynamic way to control the plane, and they don't do much up here. And we're going to be below 40 kilometers pretty darn soon. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll assess. Okay, I'm cutting throttle. Let's set this for 30 kilometers. And set that to the waypoint. And, yeah, deploy all those flaps that I can. RCS isn't doing anything. Yeah, I want to just bring that speed down. That's the main thing I'm thinking about. Waypoint. Lock on the waypoint. Cannot select. Oh, because the cruise flight controller is not on. There we go. Waypoint. There we go. Just want to, let's change this to 25 kilometers. I want to reduce speed before I reduce a lot of altitude. So there we go. Okay. What is our science situation here? It is still transmitting data. There's plenty of electricity aboard. Could probably reduce weight by reducing the amount of electricity now I'm thinking about it. Come here. There we go. Still transmitting away. We collected 1.2 science of that high altitude. And we're transmitting. Not worrying about the waypoint. What I'm just worrying about, like, I'm going to overshoot. But I want to slow this craft down. So we're just going to kind of leveling off at 25 kilometers. Good boy. Okay. This is I just wanted to see that it's controllable. It is. Let's see how much data we end up ultimately transmitting. There's 0.4 there. I don't know if it's, I think that's saying it's transmitted 0.4. Not sure how much left it has to transmit. It's got 3 minutes worth of transmitting to do. Okay, we can probably get down to 15 kilometers at this point. Not going to take this all the way to land. I'm going to fly it just the way it is. And we're just going to use it to collect what science I can. And hopefully as I do more, I'll be able to, can also drain what's left of the propellant in here too. There we go. Reduce the weight of the craft. Wasn't much to do, but it's there. So 1.2 science again there, 0.6. So far we've done 1.8 science, and then whatever it's got left to transmit. There's going to be a little over 2, I think, when this is all said and done. Okay, we're going to revert. We're going to build this thing. Got to give my limited engineer something to do. Now, the unfortunate thing that happened with the whole fiasco with the pilot and having to recover the plane from the runway and all that kind, it never got recovered back into the space plane hangar. So I have to actually build this thing from scratch. Now I probably have to tool a tank, but it shouldn't cost me too much. So let's tool that. And let's start the construction of this. So let's do the construction part. Oh, I got to buy the RCS blocks. Okay, that's fine. All right, so that has been added to the hangar. Let's actually leave out of here. Save this. Oh, the other thing I want to do is add it to the plans. This is a new X3. Add to plans. Replace the old one. Okay. and get out of here. Alright, let's see how we're doing here with our combined one. So this isn't going to take too long to get built. 26 days. If I take a look at staff, I currently have 22 engineers working on it out of my 40. I'm going to fire some more. Well, let's not fire engineers. Let's take a look at just our rocket. So right here, this is the Atlas booster I would like to start integrating. But unfortunately, I think it's all tooled at this point. Yes, it is, but it needs to, I gotta buy this balloon tank, and I gotta buy the motors, the LR43 motor, and I don't have the cash for it. So not the cash, but the credit. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fly the X3 until it is ready. Now, if I take a look at my pilots, I have no idea what state they're in. Oh, Frederic is ready to go. So why don't we give Frederic some X1 training. That's going to take him 11 days. Okay. Oops. There we go. So that'll be done well before. George is back on duty, so why don't we... The R&R for George is now done, so we can actually train George with the X1, because that's the only thing we're flying right now. Okay. And that'll get done pretty lickety-split too, so they'll both be ready. Mission training for Frederic is done. Mission training for George is done. Let's build our X3. There we go. We're going to prep it for air launch. That's going to take a couple days. And yeah, middle of the day, let's air launch this thing. So the Bell X3, our pilot is going to be okay. Yep, those parameters are all good. I never did rewrite the launch or the boot file for this thing, but I actually really don't care. I'm actually going to put in Frederic. I think Frederic is the one to last. I'm hoping I like to alternate them. So Frederic is going in there. Yeah, let's do it. Close that and Shift P and P. Okay, and just get ready to go. 3, 2, 1, and go. And get that throttle up as soon as it's finished rendering. And engage that motor. And we are off. Alright, here we go. This time it's for real. Same thing as what we were just seeing, but now we're going to be doing this for real. I never did fix my staging with my RCS, so let's do that right now. Bang. Okay, and let's just take a look at our craft settings. This can get set for the X-plane, and we can set up our waypoint here. But we're not going to engage this for a little bit. Nope. We're going to just keep doing what we're doing. Same plan as before. This time I'm going to not reduce throttle at all. I'm going to try keeping the pitching up as hard as I can and just simply not reduce the throttle. I think that actually did not serve me well. Let it build up a little bit more speed this time. Let's actually pitch up just a little. We want to get above 40 kilometers. For science! No contracts, just science. I'll say the one thing that was really nice. this heading on. And not that I'm engaging it just yet. One thing that's really nice about using the cruise flight controller is that you can just sort of set it and not quite forget it, but you don't have to concentrate on other things. I can time warp in between. Now I'm nervous about time warping during this pit. Not, you know, I guess I could do, well, no, let's not time warp. Let's just get up there. It takes less of my concentration using the cruise flight controller. That's the thing. Especially when I talk. I find talking and concentrating at the same time kind of hard. That's why I make so many silly mistakes. You don't know how often, and I know people watch these videos and just kind of shake their heads, especially those more familiar with RP1 than I am. But, you know, just dumb things that I do. But I notice them too, quite often. You know, once I get the video and I finish recording it, and then I start doing the editing, which is pretty minimal. All I do is take out the load screens. That's the only editing that I do. But even in all of that, it suddenly occurs to me, oh my god, why did I do that? How am I missing that? But yeah, I've heard it referred to as YouTube brain. Alright, we're at 28 kilometers. 550 meters per second, but again, the main thing is just continually building up that altitude, starting to get a little bit of trouble pitching up now that we're at 30 kilometers, so I'm going to engage our RCS blocks. Let's see, and then it wants to go, I don't know why it suddenly wants to pitch downwards, so I'm gonna try and use, here, I'm just gonna try and hold, I've taken my hand away from the keyboard. It's still just pumping out that RCS, isn't it? Just to hold that attitude. I'd love it to pitch up higher, but I think very close to the top end of what I can do. Speed is well over 640. That's not going to be an issue. I could, again, redesign the plane, put bigger wings and all that kind of stuff on it, but I just really don't want to. I think bigger wings, more lift up here would probably be advantageous. Ah, it wants to fall forward so badly. But I'd rather just sort of, you know, this is just a stopgap until I get my rockets built is really what I'm thinking. Yeah, not reducing throttle, even though the speed is way over. We're collecting science. That's all fine. I am pitching up as hard as I can. Again, stomp down on that S key. Why it wants to think to go, like, why? I'm just pitching up. What is it doing? It's got its own brain. It's got its own brain wanting to pitch down. Just pitch up. What if I took off the standard fly-by-wire for a little bit? Well, just master switch off. Master switch off might be a good idea up here. Now it's stomped up here. I noticed it was trying to pitch down. There was something that the flight controller was doing. I'm reducing throttle a little bit. It's losing some of those engines. It'll conserve fuel. I am losing a little bit of yaw control. I am totally now, I guess I could put this on. This is total stock manual now. Oh, this is better. This is better. This is better, honestly. I am losing altitude. Let's try speeding up a bit. Now let's, yeah, speed up. I'm gonna lose altitude before no, maybe I won't. I think just taking off the autopilot, period. Just doing this manual. Okay, we have run out of fuel. I've still got RCS propellant, so I'm just trying to keep it up while I can. I think that went better than it did in simulation. You can still see the RCS going. Here we can watch our helium. Once the helium runs out, we will be done. And then we'll think about getting this thing. Speed's not an issue. We're under 40 kilometers, so there we go. We're done. Okay, so let's re-engage our master switch. Turn this to 30 kilometers. No, 25 kilometers seem to work well. And engage our cruise flight controller and lock ourselves to that waypoint. RCS can come off. We can drain whatever propellants are left. They're not going to do anything. There we go. Okay. All right. We're all good. And it's just the science. I think I did a little better. 1.6, that's more than it did before. We also collected some crew report, which we're busy transmitting away. It's trying to turn itself over the runway just a little bit. But what I want to do, those flaps engaged, they are. What I want to do is just kind of level off at 25 kilometers and just lose speed. Let's just set this heading for, what's our current heading? 280. Let's just set it, or 278. 278, and just fly level. Forget the waypoint. Just fly level. Just fly level for a little bit. Oh, it's turning back to 278. Fine. Do that. There we go. Right, we're just going to lose speed. Now we got to put it down on the runway. That went all right. I didn't even use up all of the helium for this, but we did drain all of our... Oh no, there's still... Okay, it didn't drain the helium. It just drained the what was left. I guess I got to put one on the helium tank if I want to just drain that tank completely. There's still... No, it did drain that. Okay. All right, speed is coming down nicely. We can probably get down to 15 kilometers safely now. As we overshoot this runway. Still transmitting the remains of that crew report. Now, what do we got left? Show this for just the current vessel. We have the high altitude science. So we've got 1.6 aboard. So you can see it's going to take several flights of this. It's not showing the crew report for whatever reason. Crew report is not. Just going to watch my speed at the same time, but there's the crew reports. Okay. Just want to see how much of that flying high crew report we got. We've got 90%. There's 0.2 aboard the flight that it's still transmitting. But probably one more flight will probably finish off the crew reports. Okay, whoa. Okay, we are actually going to slow down here. What's our angle to the runway? Let's spin around. Let's put this back on the waypoint. I took the flaps off. Let's decrease this to 20 degrees. And let's get down to 300 meters. While I was fiddling around with the science, I didn't realize how much I actually did slow down. We got to carry this to the runway now. Slowed down a little bit too much. We can recover from anywhere. Again, there's no contract saying we have to run on the runway. It just will mean a little bit extra funds for us if we do make it to the runway. But certainly not something worth risking your pilot over. We are coming at the runway from quite the angle, though. Okay, angle of the runway is about 13.5 degrees. I'm going down with 15 degrees. I am losing speed. And we're going pretty slow. Have we finished our transmitting? We're almost finished our Oh, crew report's done. It just said crew report is done. So no more crew reports to do. Total transmitted 0.9 science. We still have some science aboard. 1.6 science. So 2.5 science collected and all that. Honestly, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Speed is pretty steady. I think we're going to be okay. Of course, those are some famous last words, aren't they? I'm going to actually drop even a little bit more of an angle. Maybe 18 degrees. And the reason why... Let's actually change our heading here. Let's take the time warp off for a sec. Our current heading's 107. I want to go a little bit more towards the south. So let's change this to 120. Engage that. I want to line up with the runway a little better. Put that back to 15. Try and line ourselves up with that runway. Quick save! Quick save! So I hardly used up any of the electric charge. Look at that. So let's take a lot of this electric charge out. Why not? Same with the oxygen. What does Frederick need oxygen? Maybe I shouldn't mess with that. I could probably safely take out half of both. Okay. Heading to the runway. When that gets to 90, we're going to turn towards the runway. But I'm almost at 300. I can actually start deploying a little bit of flaps and trying to slow down here a bit. Okay, aim for the runway. Waypoint. That slowed down a lot there. More flaps. I was worried about going too slow, and now I'm worried about going too fast. Okay, I'm on standard fly-by-wire. It's on me now. Time warp is off. More flaps. I think I got the flaps as far down as they go. Here. This one does have a drag chute. It is going pretty darn fast. Okay, engaging parachute. There it goes. I want to kind of stay off the runway while I'm still going this fast. But of course, we're going to run out of runway at some point. Okay, let's go down. Full. Yep. Yeah, I don't know why I was stressed. Easy McPeasy pants. Okay. Awesome source. All right. Recover you to the spaceplane hangar. Okay. So we got some crew updates. Yep. They got some R&R. Pushing the retirement date back a little bit. Got some science here. Got 12 science all told. I don't know if I'm at a point where I can unlock a node, but I mean, I got a bunch in the hopper being researched as it is. Getting pretty close to orbital rocketry, which is kind of a shame, considering I got a frickin' rocket I haven't even built yet. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think I've already done the tooling, so I best stick with the booster that I got. Okay, and somebody is going to be off for a little bit. Again, I'm pushing the wrong button there. Astronauts, that was Frederic. Add an alarm for when Frederic will be ready, and we'll pump some more training into him. But otherwise, let's recover our plane. And we shall edit it. Okay, so fill all the tanks. Let's take a look at reducing the amount of oxygen by half and the amount of electric charge by half. Does that really make a big difference with mass? If it doesn't, I'm not going to do it. I'm not even noticing anything with the oxygen. Mass is still the same. What about if the electric charge, if I just reduce it? No. Okay, so let's not screw with that. Okay, so otherwise, we want to repack the parachute. I don't know if this is necessary, but I like to do it. All I do is do that and just say apply settings again. And that seems to be working for me. Close these. And yeah, let's save the edits. It'll take 42 minutes to do all that. Let's actually retract our landing gear. Okay, and all this should be full now again. Oh, I never put... Oh, no, there is fuel in there. Okay, save edits. And I should be fine. Yeah. I said fill tanks. It'll fill tanks. All right, let's just do those edits. I just realized one more thing, too. Is to fix the staging. So I want the parachute on its own stage, and the RCS and the main engine can stage at the same time. Let's save those edits, which take no time. All right, so our Bell XC is ready for its second flight. So let's prep the air launch. That's going to take a couple of days. Let's take a look and see if I can start building my rocket. So opening up the Atlas booster, and will you let me? It says I gotta buy parts and insufficient funds. Like, can I? Ugh. It's this engine. Let's take a look. The LR, what is it? The LR43 engine. That one. So its entry cost is $45,000. But again, that's mostly covered with credits. I just don't have... If I click on it, does it tell me how many credits I have? It just says I don't have enough. And the other issue is the balloon tank. Which is not the ISO grid tank, but the balloon tank. And that's 50,000. Jeepers creepers. Okay, well, yeah. So it is what it is. Eventually we'll get the credits for that. So we'll leave here. I think what I will do is get into staff, because I just don't need the staff. So let's fire another 10 engineers. Why won't it let me fire? Oh, I got to be in the hangar. There we go. Still won't let me fire engineers. Is it saying I can't fire them anymore? I guess so. Oh, I got to unassign them. I keep forgetting to do that. So I got to unassign 10, and then I can fire 10. There we go. Boy, I fired a lot of them. I tells you. And it's, you get into the budget too. I mean, it tells you how much funds you have up here and how much they're changing over time. And it tells you how quickly you're building your unlock credits, 358.3 unlock credits per. I don't quite know how that works, how it determines how many unlock credits you get, but I don't see anywhere where it's telling me how many credits I have. So, I don't know. I think I'll just keep proceeding the way I'm proceeding. And if it gets to the point where there's nothing more for me to do with the X3, I'm just going to be time warping until I have the funds I need. So anyway, let's get the X3 mounted. And let's prep that for air launch. So that is good. This time it is going to be George, parachute, and launch. Okay. Again, I should fix that. I should maybe just take the boot file right out maybe next time. Oh, shoot. Shift P and P. There we go. And engage and go. There we are. Now, while this is building, something to think about is under McJeb, we do have Smart AS. Does this help me? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think my regular SAS was fine. So I think what I am going to be doing is taking off the master switch when we get up to altitude. I will pre-put in some of these numbers though. There we go. again, we can keep an eye on our science. I believe there is no more crew report to do. It's just going to be the flying high altitude science. That is it. Okay, I am going to add a little bit of time warping to this equation. So I can see this is going to get repetitive. Okay, I'm going to try and pitch up a little bit. It's a little jerky because of the time warp. A little bit more. Get up there. Keep building up. Okay, get that waypoint selected too. That's ready. Here we are. Okay, getting close to 30 kilometers. Keep pitching up. Struggling a little. I'm going to take the time warp off now. Putting on RCS. And I'm going to try taking off the master switch. Just pitch up. Look how I can... Yep. Get up there. Oh, you know why? I know why. I know what was going on these craft settings. Hang on. Put on the master switch again. There is a limit angle of attack. Let's change that to frick. Ah, fiddling too much. Ah, 60. 60, 60. There we go. That's why. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I might have already botched this. This moderate the angle of attack business was screwing it up. I think that's why it was trying to pitch down on me before. So I might try and remember to do that next time. But now, unfortunately, we are... No, it's still doing it. Okay, forget it. Master switch off. SAS on. Up. Up, you stinker. Up. Again, just stomped on the S key. We are collecting science, right? Yep, we are. The crew report's all done. Fortunately, there's no way to remove that. There's no... It's just always going to be there. Okay, getting fuel warnings, and... Alright, we are still going up. I mean, I'm okay with that. What do we have? 46 kilometers almost. We'll see how much of that high altitude science I collect this time around. Last time I think it was 1.6 if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. Okay. We're just going to try and keep it pointing upwards as best we can here. As long as we're over 40 kilometers, we are going to be collecting that science we want. I am starting to descend. That's all okay. Okay, I have just run out of RCS, so that's not doing anything for me anymore. But I might as well keep pitching up. We're well above speed. We're going to be just... When we drop below 40, that's when the science fun is done. I think I collected the exact same amount of science looking at it. Okay, we are done here. I'm putting back on the master switch. I'm going to put this into cruise flight control mode. We are dropping at 30 degrees, and I'm going to deploy flaps. And getting down to 25 kilometers and begin to slow down. We'll have a nice calm return. Science data collected. We collected 1.7, a little bit more. So my little bit of fussing didn't seem to affect anything. That seems to be 1.6, 1.7 is the amount I'm going to get. All right. We can do a little time warping here. Again, I want to drop this speed just a little more before I go down any further. All right, we'll get it below. Around now is fine. So we're going to drop now our altitude down to 15 kilometers. Dropping. So that's the key if you're descending one of these X-planes, is don't get down to the thicker, don't be in a hurry to get down to the thicker atmosphere. Level off, let your speed drop. I'm going to moderate this angle of attack again back to what it was. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All right, and now I'm paying attention to the angle to the runway. It's 20 degrees. Probably I will spin this around very shortly. Okay, let's go to the waypoint, spin around. Take off the flaps for just a little bit because we're actually slowing down quite decently. Let's put this to 15 degrees for the drop rate for now, and we're going to go down to 300 meters. Probably could put this to 300 meters right from the get-go. Well, this part of it seems to be going pretty good. So our angle to the runway is now 12 degrees. I'm dropping at a pitch rate of 15 degrees. Happy dappy. That's good. Time warp. Quick save. Okay, I'm just noticing this is now under 12 degrees, so let's put this at 13. Actually, we got a lot of speed. 15 was probably good. Rain. Okay, time warp's coming off. We'll probably deploy a bit of flaps, try and slow down a little bit here. I think we're doing okay. Leveling off. Going to standard fly-by-wire, and I am in control. Time warp is now off. Flaps are fully deployed. So actually, probably take off a little bit of the flaps, to be honest. Going a little quick. Well, slow, I mean. The opposite of quick. Alright. Line her up a bit. Okay. Flaps back. Gear. Okay. Flaps are full. We can arm that parachute. I believe those flaps are fully deployed. Once, I think it's 50 meters, I think is when that parachute partially deploys. So we'll just again cruise just above the runway until it fully deploys, and then we'll come down. Beautiful. And boink. Easy peasy. All right, there we go. That was another one. We're gonna get good at this X-plane, that's for sure. And recover. Okay, got our science. That's good. That's good. That's good. And R&R for George until October 7th. We'll set that alarm. Unfortunately, now we're probably going to wait on our pilots more now than we're going to be waiting on our plane. And we're certainly not going to hire more pilots, so that is going to be that. Okay, let's recover Bell X3. Let's edit that. I'm going to take a look at the flight time on this. This engine doesn't run forever. Doesn't it tell me total flight time I have on this guy? Maybe not. I think you only get that outside of here. Okay. Next time I'm flying it, I want to pay attention to flight time. Okay, fill the tanks. Retract gear. Runway. There we are. And parachute. Okay, do that. Apply settings. Close. Close. Fix our staging. And up we go. Okay, save those edits. That's going to take all of 42 minutes. Okay, so time warp to the completion of that. Orbital rocketry is now going to be done in only 3 days. And I mean, how can, okay. No, I've already put some money into building my current rocket. It's kind of annoying me. Same with this. This Atlas is going to be built before I'm ready, I think. I don't think the Redstone's going to do anything for me. The Redstone complex. But the Atlas complex is not that far. It's only 45 days. Okay, well, anyway. Warping to the time warp completion of that. The Bell X3 is ready, but we don't have a pilot. And we won't have a pilot for another 4 days. We can start the prep for air launch business, so we might as well do that. Okay, there is that. And, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, what do we got here? 40 day. Okay, so we're going to have pilots first. So let's time warp. It'll stop. There we go. So we got a pilot here, Frederic. Frederic can now do some training. Do some mission training. Start training. As soon as that training is done, Frederic can fly. So, let's do the, really would love, oh wait, this subsidies, I gotta find out more information about how that credit system works. I guess I could Google that. But anyway, I am, doesn't matter right now, does it? Let's time warp to the training being complete. All right. Oh, what is going on here? Oh, we got George just about done. That's what's going on here. Okay, George is ready. And we can train George. Okay, time warp to the completion of the training. And you may have noticed last episode as well, I've been having trouble with the warp to sunrise button, that it goes way past sunrise. That's kind of gotten messed up. So I'm going to actually just manually time warp to sunrise, which is always around 1200 hours. There we go. And again, because some time has gone by, we can start building our Atlas booster. Let's see. Can we start building our Atlas booster is the question. Launch. Unlock. Spending 40,000 credits. So that, I think, tells me I have 40,000 credits. 40,959 credits. I need 50,000. So that means I can probably do one of them, right? Am I misreading that? Knowledge. If I go again to the motors, I think the motor was the cheaper one compared to the balloon tank. Ground-lit engines. It was an American one. And it was this one. Oh, I think I can afford it. Just make sure it's the right one. The LR4389. The LR4389. I can now... Cost after credits is 4,041. So I can use some of my credits. I can afford this one. Boom. Okay, so now if I hit this, it's only one thing I need, but I don't have enough. The 50,000 for the balloon tank. Okay. I gotta be honest, I don't think this is ever going to get built in the Atlas. I think I'm going to go straight, or in the Redstone complex. I think I'm going to go straight to the Atlas one. All right, we're out of here. We're getting closer. Okay. We're ready for air launch, so why don't we do that? And launch. And is I'm losing track of, I think Frederick's the only one available. Yep. Parachute, launch. Okay, and one, and go. Throttle up. And engage. Alright, again, well, same old story, isn't it? 270, we'll set that. 25 kilometers seems to work well for that sort of just leveling off and slowing down spot. Climb drop will be at 30 degrees. Craft settings, I will, yeah, keep that on X plane. Alrighty, and get our waypoint set up. Boink. Alright. Again, science, science, science. So what portion, while this is all going on, what portion of the high altitude flight? I've collected 20% of it so far, so this is going to take 10 flights of this thing. Now the truth of the matter is, I do have better tech coming. In fact, I might want to investigate that. I do have better tech coming. And by better tech, I mean I do have the X15 cockpit, which can put this thing over 75 kilometers and go over the Kármán line, which I need to do to finish off the X-Planes research program, but also 2 engine upgrades that are substantially better than this one. And that might actually be something worth looking into, is to go with the engine upgrades just to collect the science. If I consider it worth it, or is it just push for the Kármán line? I don't know. But I don't know where I'm at with that. I'll have to look at that once this mission's done. Okie doke. Keep climbing. Alright, okay, we've got 500 meters per second happening here. Just kind of slowly transfer that speed into vertical motion. Just it really does struggle up and towards the top. Okay, reaching up. And like I said, I think once I put on the RCS, I am better off taking it off fly-by-wire and putting on just good old-fashioned SAS. Which I think I'm going to do right about now. So SAS on, standard fly-by-wire off, RCS on. Just pitch up. Really good. Just kind of see if you can just hold that. Doesn't want to hold it, but I would like you to hold it. Oh, we're getting a little bit of slewing, a little sideways motion going on. Ah, come back. Oh, I still got this. Oh, master switch off. Shoot. I keep clicking the standard fly-by-wire thinking that that will turn it off. That's not how you do it. You have to turn off the master switch. Ah, so it was still on standard fly-by-wire through that bit. That's why. Okay, now let's see if we can get this under some control. And stomping on the S key, I think, is the way to go. And trying to keep your pitch up as much as you frickin' can. That is my song. All right. See, at least now the pitch controller just stays stuck at the top rather than leveling off every once in a while. I don't care about leveling off. Okay, getting the fuel warnings. I am not touching the throttle. Actually, the fact that I'm not touching the throttle makes me wonder if I'm better off going to the bigger engine, that one-off unthrottleable motor for this, but maybe not. This is working. This is working. Getting some good practice flying this thing back down to the runway, though, that's for sure. Alright, we are still increasing our altitude, which I really like. But we are just about out of fuel. There goes that. Still got the RCS going, but that'll probably run out pretty soon, too. And just trying to keep the nose up as best I can. Trying to keep the altitude up as best I can. Maximizing the amount of timer over 40 degrees. Or 40 kilometers in altitude. Okay. I think the record for, yeah, I've gotten over 60. That is the record. Oh, that's it. RCS is now kaput. We have none of that left. So we're just going to kind of keep it level. until we're below 40 kilometers. And we'll see. We'll assess how much science this one pulled in. You can see we got a total of 5.2 of the 16.5 that's available, but we are pretty close to being at the end of that story. We are at the end of the story. So again, I'm going to now go to the cruise flight controller, and I'm going to deploy flaps, and we're going to drop down to 25 kilometers, and then kind of level off and lose a bunch of this hypersonic speed. We can also get rid of, I could attach that to an action group or something, but there we go. Little puff of propellant. That's just the residuals that are left of this. Oh shoot, what's going on here? Level off. What? Wait, whoa, what? Why? I set you to 25 kilometers. Time out here. What on earth is going on? My brain's gone to... Oh, my master switch is off. Damn it. I had it all... Jeepers creepers. Okay, let's put it to 15 now. Oh, I'm not used to turning that off. Well, we've definitely slowed down. I'm so glad we didn't blow up. That's what I was kind of worried about. Okay. I'm going to take off the flaps. So to explain what just happened there, I had this all set. I had the cruise flight control on, but I did not have the master switch on. So when I would have my hands away from the keyboard, it was literally just following, you know, probably just following the aerodynamic prograde vector. You know, it's just an unguided missile until I realized, wait a minute, what's going on? And then I was trying to do it manually. Very happy I didn't break anything there. Okay, where are we at? We're going to have to drop down towards that runway pretty darn soon. We lost too much speed. Let's change this to 300. And let's start going back towards the runway. So we lost a lot of speed there with my little jerkinesses that I was doing, which probably put a lot of strain on the wings. I'm very, very glad that... that Frederic is still here with us. Frederic does have a parachute. It's happened to me before that I've had to bail. Okay, we need to put a little bit of flaps on because I do want to kind of not pick up speed as we're going down. I want to slowly lose speed because we're coming down pretty steeply here. Oh my gosh. Okay, quick save again. Let's set this angle to 25. A little more flaps. I might be at max flaps. Oh my gosh. Adventures in flying. That's what we got here. How much science did we collect? How much science? 2! 2 that time. A whole 2. Oh my golly. Oh my golly. So what percentage have I done now? I have now collected 20% of what's available. Oh wait, no, that's what's sitting in the R&D center. There's still... Okay, no. That's not counting what's aboard this thing. Alright, how we doing? We are not slowing down as much as I would like. We are coming close to the point where we're going to start leveling off. I don't like that flashing that happens in the water. I don't know what causes that. Okay. Speed's at 220 meters per second. We are cooking it. We are cooking it. Probably should have cruised a little bit further before turning around. Okay, going to standard fly-by-wire. Let's get the gear and get as much drag as we can on this thing. Line her up for the runway. Just the act of turning also, like, that slows you down. I think we're okay. Full flaps. Okay, engage parachute. Or arm it, sorry. Arm in that parachute. And again, it should, as we get below, it should come out. Yes. And we'll just cruise above the runway until it fully decides it's going to fully deploy, which I think is below. Oh no, there it goes. I don't know what. At some point it does that, and then we can just slowly put her down. Boom. Done. Okay. Okay, a little bit adventurous at one point, but mostly pretty good. Two science. Two science. Can't complain about that. Let's recover. Okay, there's our two science. So looking now at our total science, we've now collected 30% of what's available. Probably going to take, yeah, 30%, 3 flights. Doesn't take a math genius to figure out how many more flights that's going to take. Unless I get significantly better at this. I can look at our astronauts, and Frederic is going to be on R&R until November the 4th. So we'll add that alarm on there. We got mission training happening. We got our Bell X3 being recovered. I do have, for my next science, and this is due for April the 14th, so still 186 days away, we have hypersonic flight, and that will really improve my rocket planes. So hopefully we can use that to kind of finish off a lot of the X-plane stuff. Might not even finish, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see. But it'll help me collect science better and all that kind of stuff as well. But the main thing really is going to be raising up the credits to get that balloon tank so I can start the construction of my Atlas booster. Honestly, though, 25 days, the Atlas launch complex, that can integrate the entire rocket. I might be just getting rid of the Redstone complex entirely and not bother with the whole building the booster first. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but funds are getting in the way. But I'm looking, that is all going to have to be, I believe, for a future episode. So I'm going to thank you for watching and hope to see you again for the next one. Stomping on the S key, I think, is the way to go. And trying to keep your pitch up as much as you frickin' can.